On a warm July evening in 2008, the quiet neighborhood of Foster Drive in Baton Rouge was suddenly disrupted by the sound of screeching metal and splintering wood. A fully loaded semi-truck had crashed into a family home at 4726 Foster Drive. The incident immediately caught the attention of residents and authorities alike. As neighbors rushed out to investigate the commotion, they were met with a scene of destruction that seemed out of place in their usually peaceful community. The driver's identity and motivations remained unclear in the chaotic aftermath, leaving everyone wondering what could have led to such a shocking event on their street. Jamal Carter steered his 18-wheeler into the driveway of 4726 Foster Drive, exhausted from his latest long-haul trip. As he entered the house, something felt off. Tasha greeted him with a quick peck on the cheek, but her eyes darted away, avoiding his gaze. The living room had been rearranged, and a new perfume lingered in the air. Over dinner, Tasha chatted about her growing beauty business, her answers vague and rushed. When Jamal asked about her day, she kept glancing at her phone, and Jamal noticed her growing emotional distance. That night, as Tasha slept, Jamal lay awake, a gnawing feeling in his gut. The next morning, Jamal mentioned a series of break-ins in the neighborhood. He suggested installing security cameras for peace of mind during his long absences. Tasha agreed, seemingly relieved at the idea of added protection. Little did she know, Jamal's true motive was to keep an eye on her. 2 weeks later, Jamal found himself parked at a truck stop, hunched over his laptop. He connected to the home security system, his heart racing as he began to review the footage from his time away. At first, the video showed nothing unusual. Tasha going about her daily routine, working on her business from home. But on the third day of recordings, a sleek BMW pulled into the driveway. Jamal leaned closer to the screen, his breath catching in his throat. He recognized the man who stepped out, Devin Hines, a local real estate agent who had helped them buy their home 2 years ago. Jamal watched as Tasha welcomed Devin with a warm embrace that lingered too long. They disappeared into the house, emerging hours later, looking disheveled and flushed. Over the next week, Devin's visits became more frequent, always when Jamal was scheduled to be on the road. With shaking hands, Jamal began to catalog the video files, meticulously cross-referencing them with his trucking schedule. The pattern was clear. Devin always visited when Jamal was away. The cameras captured intimate moments between Tasha and Devin, confirming Jamal's worst fears. Unable to confront Tasha about his discovery, Jamal retreated to the familiar confines of his truck. He sat in the cab, staring at the house he once called home, now tainted by betrayal. As night fell, Jamal's mind raced with thoughts of revenge, setting in motion a chain of events that would lead to tragedy. Tasha Carter's journey from stay-at-home mom to aspiring beauty entrepreneur began with a social media post about a new line of cosmetics. Excited by the opportunity to contribute to the family's income, Tasha immersed herself in the world of direct sales. She hosted makeup parties, created online tutorials, and networked with other women in the industry. Initially, Jamal encouraged her newfound passion, proud of her initiative. As Tasha's business grew, so did her circle of contacts. Among them was Devin Hines, a charismatic real estate agent who had helped the Carters purchase their home 2 years earlier. Devin's career was flourishing in Baton Rouge's property market, making him a valuable connection in the local business community. Tasha and Devin's paths crossed again at a networking event. Devin, always looking for new clients, saw potential in Tasha's growing beauty business. He offered to introduce her to some of his high-end clients, suggesting they could be interested in her products. Tasha, eager to expand her customer base, readily accepted. As Tasha devoted more time to her business, Jamal noticed subtle changes in her behavior. She became protective of her phone, often taking calls in another room, or quickly ending conversations when he entered. Her focus on her appearance intensified, with new outfits and makeup styles appearing in her wardrobe. The emotional distance between Jamal and Tasha widened with each passing week. Their conversations became perfunctory, centered around schedules and household matters. Tasha's excitement about her business replaced the warmth she once showed towards Jamal's return from long hauls. As Jamal reviewed more security footage, his suspicions deepened. He watched Tasha prepare for meetings with an enthusiasm he hadn't seen in years. The camera captured her primping in front of the mirror, practicing her sales pitch, and leaving the house with a confident stride. But it was the footage of Devon's frequent visits that truly shattered Jamal's world. Tasha's new career as a beauty entrepreneur created opportunities for her to connect with Devon, blurring the lines between professional and personal relationships. The excitement of her newfound independence, combined with Devon's charm and success, proved to be a potent mix that ultimately led to infidelity. As the evidence mounted, Jamal's mental state began to deteriorate. The man who once supported his wife's ambitions now saw her success as the very thing that had driven them apart. With each new revelation, the loving husband transformed into a man consumed by betrayal and thoughts of revenge. Jamal's obsession with uncovering the truth intensified as he watched countless hours of footage from the Lorx HD security camera he had installed in the living room. The anniversary couch, once a symbol of love and commitment, now stood at the center of his darkest suspicions. How many times had that piece of furniture witnessed his wife's betrayal? The camera revealed a pattern of behavior that fueled Jamal's growing paranoia. Tasha's phone became an extension of her hand, constantly buzzing with notifications. She left the house frequently, ostensibly for beauty product demonstrations. Each departure now felt like a potential rendezvous with Devon. Jamal scrutinized the footage, paying close attention to Devon's body language during his visits. The casual touches, the lingering glances, every interaction seemed charged with unspoken intimacy. As Jamal pored over the recordings, his anger intensified. The couch where they had celebrated anniversaries and shared quiet evenings now appeared tainted. Jamal's mind conjured vivid images of Tasha and Devon entwined on that very spot, desecrating the memories he once held dear. Jamal's trucking schedule, once a source of pride and financial stability, now felt like a curse. He meticulously cross-referenced his absences with the security footage, confirming his worst fears about the timing of Devon's visits. The betrayal cut deep, pushing Jamal to make a fateful decision. In a significant breach of professional conduct, Jamal deviated from his assigned route. He set up a mobile surveillance station in his truck at an abandoned industrial lot, allowing him to monitor his home in real time through the security camera. This decision marked a point of no return, as Jamal prioritized his obsession over his career and safety regulations. From his makeshift command center, Jamal watched his life unravel before his eyes. The camera that was meant to protect his home now revealed a shocking truth. His marriage was built on lies. Every tender moment between Tasha and Devon felt like a knife twisting in Jamal's heart. As the days passed, Jamal's grip on reality began to slip. The constant stream of surveillance footage blurred the lines between observer and voyeur, husband and stranger. The stage was set for a confrontation that would forever alter the lives of everyone involved. July 2nd, 2008, marked a turning point in Jamal Carter's life. As the sun set over Baton Rouge, Jamal sat in his makeshift surveillance station at the abandoned industrial lot, eyes fixed on the live feed from his home security cameras. At 7:43 p.m., Devin Hines's BMW pulled into the driveway of 4726 Foster Drive. Jamal observed as Tasha greeted Devin at the door, their interaction confirming his suspicions. The couple disappeared into the house, reappearing moments later in the living room. Jamal watched their intimate encounter on the anniversary couch, his emotions intensifying with each passing minute. By 9:30 p.m., Jamal had made his decision. He started the engine of his semi-truck and began the short drive from the industrial lot to Foster Drive. The journey felt endless as he approached his street, his resolve strengthening with each mile. At 9:45 p.m., Jamal positioned his truck at the end of Foster Drive, headlights off to avoid detection. Through his phone, he continued to access the live security feed, watching as Tasha and Devin remained oblivious to the impending danger. The next 2 minutes stretched into an eternity as Jamal sat in the darkness. In those moments, multiple perspectives converged. Tasha and Devin, lost in their affair. Neighbors, going about their evening routines. And Jamal, poised on the brink of an irreversible decision. At 9:47 p.m., Jamal made his fatal choice. He started the engine, flicked on the high beams, and floored the accelerator. The truck lurched forward, quickly gaining speed as it barreled towards the house. The security feed on Jamal's phone showed Tasha and Devin's startled expressions in the final seconds before impact. The collision was catastrophic. The truck's massive grille acted as a battering ram, splintering the wooden frame of the house and shattering the bay window. The front wall crumbled under the impact. Support beams snapped, and the second floor partially collapsed into the living room. The anniversary couch was crushed beneath the truck's chrome bumper. In the immediate aftermath, a cloud of dust and debris filled the air. The quiet neighborhood erupted into chaos as stunned residents emerged from their homes, drawn by the deafening crash. Jamal sat motionless in the cab of his truck, the magnitude of his action slowly sinking in as sirens wailed in the distance. As sirens pierced the night, a chilling scene unfolded on Foster Drive. Neighbors rushed out, drawn by the deafening crash that shattered the quiet neighborhood. Mark Davidson, a retired paramedic living next door, was the first to reach the wreckage. He immediately checked for vital signs but found none, the grim reality sinking in as he surveyed the destruction. Within minutes, the Baton Rouge Police Department and Fire Department arrived, their flashing lights illuminating the surreal scene. Officer James Martinez approached the truck's cab, where he found Jamal Carter sitting with an unsettling composure that raised immediate suspicions. The house at 4726 Foster Drive was a scene of utter devastation. Fire Chief Robert Wells called for structural engineers before recovery efforts could begin, underscoring the severity of the impact. As emergency personnel worked to secure the area, Jamal offered no resistance when officers placed him in handcuffs. The community's shock deepened as word spread about the identity of the truck driver. Neighbors gathered in disbelief, watching as the respected man they had known for years was placed in the back of a police cruiser. The sight of the semi-truck embedded in the house served as a grim reminder of the night's tragic events. As dawn broke, investigators combing through the wreckage made a discovery that sent shockwaves through the department. Hidden among the debris, they found sophisticated surveillance equipment, revealing the extent of Jamal's premeditation. The cameras that had once captured moments of betrayal now stood as silent witnesses to the fatal consequences of his actions. The full extent of the tragedy became clear as Jamal was taken into custody. The quiet neighborhood of Foster Drive, once known for its sense of safety and community, now grappled with the aftermath of an unthinkable crime. The events of that July night would leave an indelible mark on Baton Rouge, serving as a stark reminder of how quickly trust can shatter and lives can be irreversibly changed. The quiet neighborhood of Foster Drive in Baton Rouge was shattered, but the true impact of Jamal's actions was yet to unfold. As the trial began at the 19th Judicial District Court, national media outlets descended upon the city, their cameras capturing every moment of the proceedings. The prosecution's case relied heavily on the recovered security camera footage from the Carter residence. The timestamps on the footage aligned with Jamal's mobile phone records and the truck's GPS data, providing compelling evidence of premeditation. Dr. James Morrison, a digital forensics expert, testified about the sophisticated surveillance system Jamal had installed, emphasizing the extent of his monitoring activities. The defense team, led by seasoned attorney Michael Brennan, focused their strategy on Jamal's emotional state, bringing in psychiatrist Dr. Elena Rodriguez to testify about the acute psychological trauma caused by infidelity. As the trial progressed, conflicting testimonies painted starkly different pictures of the Carter marriage. Patricia Thompson, a neighbor, described Jamal as quiet but helpful. In contrast, Tasha's friend Mary Sullivan testified about Jamal's controlling behavior, recounting instances where he had discouraged Tasha from pursuing her own interests. The most dramatic moment of the trial came during the testimony of Sarah Carter, Jamal, and Tasha's teenage daughter. Her voice trembling, Sarah described her father as loving but increasingly paranoid in the months leading up to the murders. Her words cast a somber silence over the courtroom, driving home the tragedy that had torn apart a once happy family. The prosecution's final piece of evidence, Jamal's internet search history, revealed queries about Louisiana homicide laws and impact velocities of commercial trucks, further solidifying their case. After 8 days of heart-wrenching testimony, the jury retired to deliberate. For 6 long hours, they grappled with the weight of the evidence presented. When they finally emerged, their verdict was unanimous. Jamal Carter was found guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder. With the verdict delivered, Sarah Carter's life took a drastic turn. At 15, she found herself living with her grandmother in a quiet suburb across town. The transition was jarring, her world upended by her father's actions. Each day brought new challenges as she grappled with the loss of both parents, one to death, the other to prison. 6 months after the trial, the first letter arrived from Angola State Penitentiary. Sarah's hands trembled as she recognized her father's handwriting. Inside, Jamal's words painted pictures of happier times. Family picnics, Sarah's first bike ride, bedtime stories. But these cherished memories now felt tainted, overshadowed by the knowledge of what he had done. As more letters arrived, Sarah struggled to reconcile the loving father she remembered with the man who had committed such a violent act. Her grandmother encouraged her to seek counseling, recognizing the complex emotions Sarah was navigating. In therapy sessions, Sarah began to untangle her feelings of love, anger, and betrayal. The impact of Jamal's actions divided the extended family. Some offered support to Sarah and her grandmother, while others distanced themselves from the tragedy. Sarah's academic performance suffered as she struggled to concentrate. Her grandmother worried about the lasting psychological impact, noticing how Sarah flinched at the sound of large trucks passing by. As Sarah's 16th birthday approached, she faced an impossible dilemma. Her father's latest letter included a heartfelt plea for a visit. Sarah's mind raced with conflicting emotions. Could she face the man who had taken her mother's life? Would seeing him bring closure or reopen wounds barely beginning to heal? During the trial, Jamal's internet search history had become damning evidence of premeditation. Queries about Louisiana homicide laws and truck impact velocities painted a chilling picture of a man methodically planning a deadly act. This revelation had shattered any lingering doubt about Jamal's intentions, making Sarah's decision even more complex. The events of that July night continued to cast long shadows over Sarah's life. Her grandmother worked tirelessly to provide a stable environment, but the weight of the tragedy was evident in their daily struggles. As Sarah approached adulthood, she grappled with questions of identity, forgiveness, and the possibility of healing from such a profound loss. The tragedy on Foster Drive left an indelible mark on the Baton Rouge community, extending far beyond the immediate victims to affect neighbors, friends, and even strangers who followed the case. Sarah Carter's ongoing struggle to reconcile her loving memories with her father's actions exemplifies the complex journey many face when confronted with the darker aspects of human nature. As she grapples with Jamal's letters from prison, Sarah embodies the difficult path towards understanding and healing. This somber tale serves as a reflection on the irreversible consequences of a single moment of violent rage. It prompts consideration of the delicate balance in relationships and the critical importance of finding healthier outlets for negative emotions. The story of Jamal Carter stands as a stark reminder that even in moments of intense emotion, there are always alternatives to violence, choices that preserve our humanity and the lives of those around us. Ultimately, it underscores the profound and far-reaching impact that one person's actions can have on an entire community.